seară în mine să nu doarmă, că tot o-mi dormi când nu mai fi, nevestică un pahar mai toarnă.
Alright, 3 months into the Spanish lockdown, I look like a Yeti. Let's talk Final Fantasy 7, eh? So initially I started playing on a PlayStation 4 to kind of show gameplay and, you know, kind of put some visuals to what I'm about to talk about. But then I thought I would just end up talking most over it, and I don't want to show any cutscenes, or it doesn't matter. So I ended up going for the cheap effort, the MVP. Alright, well, if you like Final Fantasy 7 the remake, don't watch this. Yeah, this, what's going to happen in the next few minutes, is not going to help you. Enjoy what I have to say. Because in case you're following with my little rants, I'm the sort of a person that if I like something, I like it, but if I find things that bother me or otherwise I feel like pebbles in my shoe, it kind of ruins the whole experience for me. And yes, this is tied to the fact that it's a professional problem. It's a professional, how do they call it? Professional flaw? I'm sure there was a way for it, a word for this, but this is my job effectively. I'm a quality curator in real life. I test everything to be waterproof. I have to understand all connections, and if I see something that does not work, I cannot. I need to fix it. I need to fix it. And of course, games. In case everybody that does not understand, games are effectively a construct of compromises. Nobody has it their way. Nobody. Not even the big directors on top. We all have to account for our fellow workers' creativity, limitations in terms of budget, scope, and so on and so forth. But I'm already dragging this long. So let's talk about Final Fantasy 7 Remake, which I want to state for the record as we start. It is a fantastic game, really. It's one of the better games this year in terms of gameplay, presentation. They do a lot of things very well. And I think it's a well worth product to get into, even if you're a fan or you know, you're a new arrived to the game. Buy it, play it. You'll get your mileage out of your money. However, that said, let me get my glasses. Oh shit, I'm starting wearing glasses now, and my eyes are growing increasingly lazy. Alright, so let's talk about the gameplay. So let's talk about the things that I did not enjoy that much, or at least they're not up there with the rest of the experience. So in terms of gameplay, myself, I found the materia system obnoxious. And by that I mean the way you grow the materia. I did not, because you do not equip it in weapons and armor that increase, you know, the growth of the actual materia, and just, you know, kind of drop it willy-nilly. It felt like the whole system was a bit undercooked. It didn't feel like it was so intrinsic to the actual game itself. It was not bad, but it felt a bit superficial. Truly. I do enjoy the quality of life options to move them around automatically and stuff like this, but yeah, I lost track of my materia real quick as it was spread among armors and people, and I stopped caring about it because this is the second thing that I dislike. The increased damage, the increased variance of the attack damage did not felt as impactful, and the enemy skill materia sucks. It sucks. Right, in terms of gameplay, other things that I disliked were the weapons and how you put things around and you ship, then you +5 attack, plus, I don't know, all that stuff made me care less about the weapons. In a Final Fantasy 7, the first game, the weapons had their strength was how they grow, how they work with materia and their stats. Here, not so much. Although I really liked the ability that you unlock with the weapons and you can put on your character, and that was fine. But I was not fond of their system to unlock skills and you spread them and then you reshuffle them, and I did not particularly like that. But that's highly subjective. Yeah, it's highly subjective. The combat I semi-enjoyed. I understood why they did it. You know, they tried to modernize, because Square Enix does not believe in turn-based combat anymore. They do not believe that. They will not risk a major AAA game to have that sort of combat. This is no longer Squaresoft making games, folks. It's Square Enix. So yeah, I enjoy the combat, but I did not like it. Does that make any sense? No, I didn't love it. The reasons is that it's supremely chaotic. You don't understand. You don't strategize. You are just making a build, and you don't feel like you're growing. You're just there's too many ingredients in place that kind of downplays the RPG aspect of the game. Right now, it's more important to block. Now it's more important to move, to attack, to reposition. The camera is not amazing, and you barely don't see anything you're doing, and you don't feel the materia growing, and your strength does not actually. You don't feel like your strength grows. You don't feel like you deal 20 damage, not 25, 30, 40, and you're feeling better and feeling more incredible. The ATB system is a massive problem. You now are actually quite capable without the ATB system, just by attacking, so you focus on that. You do not have the quality that the old turn-based system was. You check your ATB, you attack, you see how much HP that guy has. You're always putting out fire on this new system. Everything is evolving. You lose track of the enemies, you lose track of the NPCs that fight with you. Have to jump between them, and then you kind of juggle aggro focus instead of just putting orders in the previous game. So while the combat was more spectacular and otherwise more dynamic, it felt more chaotic. I had less impact. Myself, I always thought I was playing really poorly, and was easy. It was extremely easy. It was easy and chaotic, and the RPG aspects were completely swept under the rug. I did not feel like I was advancing. I did not celebrate lightning, so Bolt 2 or Fire 3. They just came over. I didn't even care. And that is very closely tied to the stagger system. Yeah, because the scope is to stagger. So you use the lowest bolt to stagger a machine, and then you go melee with it. And that's pretty much what you do, especially with Barret. You shoot, and then you do the maximum fury and keep doing that, and that's how combat works. So I'm not fan of their new combat, but I understand why they did it. Okay. Overall, this game did not feel like Final Fantasy VII. It felt like an interpretation of it, and that's fine. It's like theater. Right, every artist, every director, they do interpretation. They do. This was Square Enix stab at Final Fantasy VII, and while a lot of the things were different, now this game had a different texture. The NPCs were vastly different. I don't even know who these people are, honestly, in this game. I'm looking at them. Is that Tifa? That's not really Tifa, She is now more, her every movement is aerobics. Over there! Oh my god! Yeah, all these exaggerating anime tropes. It was just jarring stuff to me, really. And that girl did not feel like Tifa at all. She felt like a really cool character, but what's wrong with you? Hey, anime girl, tone it down, kindly, please. Don't even go on Jesse and Wedge and all those guys that are now soap opera Korean drama actors. And it was interesting going through the world with all the Jesse's dad and all those stories and all those things. All right, fine, okay, Square Enix, okay, fine. It was drawn too much, yes. Yes, but then again, this is not Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, this is just a slice of the first game, and it was padded, long, on places boring. A lot of the things I did not care. The Aerith Claw dynamic was cute. I'm glad they expanded on that. I'm not sure what Tifa had anything to do in the story. But then again, in the previous game, she does not do much either in this particular. The whole Tifa thing comes a bit later. But while it was an interpretation, it was, it was cool, I guess. It was cool. And now let's talk about the whole story thing, which was my biggest letdown, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, was my biggest letdown. Now, without spoiling much, because I don't want to spoil shit, I just want to, rant a bit about it. In this third month of coronavirus lockdown. So yeah, at the end of the game, I understand what they were doing. They were looking a way out of the Final Fantasy VII story. They wanted to do the same story, but at the same time, they wanted to create this field where they have now full creative license. They can even save Aerith now with their new story. And they introduced the Tormentors thing, and they aligned it with the reunion. And that was obnoxious that it was done. It was intrusive. It was not explained. And at the end of the game, I was like, every time those guys appeared and fiddled with the story and all that shit, it was just like a slap in the face. Like a slap in the face. It's like a stranger coming. You're like having a nice dinner with your with a very nice old friend, nostalgic friend, a bit sexy nostalgic friend, and suddenly a third guy comes in. The Tormentor, and it just comes in. You're like, hey man, hey, what's up? Fourth time that it comes, like, can you not do that? Can you fuck off? Right, so at the end it turns out he is Bob, your uncle, and your mother never introduced him, and you're like, I see, I kind of see the resemblance, but alright, Bob, okay, alright, can you stop beating that? Can you go away, Bob? Right. All this shit that you did to us, Bob, was not worth it. Now at the end, now I know why you're here, right? We're family, and you're not introduced, and alright, I see what you're doing, but can you? Yeah, I don't feel like all the grief you have given me warrants. This reveal at the end makes me feel like you were a warranted addition. Especially since you're a vehicle, Bob. You're a fucking tool. You are a tool. Yeah, you're a tool to be used. You're not real. Right? You're a hack. You're a hack. So in a way, I think that the game did itself a disservice. Mostly because how they did my boy Sephiroth. They ran a train on him. Folks, let me tell you something. The guys, the Square Enix, tried to do an ungodly mishmash of all the stories of Final Fantasy, from Crisis Core to their stupid Advent Children movie to Dirge of fucking Cerberus, and they took this massively bloated, nonsensical story and they draw lines and were faithful to this whole mythos. They were not faithful to Final Fantasy VII. They were faithful to the meta, to the big universal story. That's a very important thing. So they were serving a story that I don't think a lot of people care for it. I don't think so. The newcomer don't give a shit. Most of the fans that are not the rabid fans, they don't give a shit. So because of that, they introduced the Sephiroth from the future, and they fucked him for everybody. They run a train on Sephiroth. I'll tell you why. So effectively, folks, they killed Sephiroth for you. Effectively, they killed him. What you see in the game, it's not Sephiroth. Or at least not introduced like in the previous game is. It's not set up. They show you the end. And that's not cool. right? There's no crescendo. You don't start. So initially in Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth is a word, a whisper. The soldiers, the other actual soldiers, you don't see them. You don't meet them. You don't do bike porn with them. No, it's just something at the edge. You're a soldier, and then who is another? And then after you exit Midgar, you're going to go to Calm, and Cloud has his own recollections of what happened, and you kind of piece together that, hey man, this guy is a reliable and unreliable narrator. Weird. Anyway, Sephiroth is introduced, and it's a freakishly powerful big brother. He's with you in your party. He fights automatically with AI. You deal 600 damage to an enemy, he deals 6,000. And you can't believe how strong this guy is. And then you go in the menu and you see his equipment, the Zidrich, the armor, the sword, the Masamune. It's like, fuck, look at these stats, look at this boy. And he's very cool. Also during the cutscenes, he acts like a big brother. You know, he's collected, he's cool, and Cloud is like, yeah man, let's fuck some shit up. I can't wait. Sephiroth's like, man, cool, chill. And he acts like a brother. You were taking lodges with him, he puts you to bed, he tells you stuff, and he's insightful. And he rescues you in a way. You're together, and Sephiroth comes in, and he's your mentor, effectively. He's your mentor, and you're developing your relation with him because you like him. It's hard not to like him. He's a bit of a husbando-ish, but you know, it's hard not to like Sephiroth. He looks cool, he acts cool. His decay happens in turns, in steps. His madness, his revelations, his dreams. And it feels bad because it's just like Berserk. It's like Berserk, the anime. You abandon him. One of the reasons he completely, you feel guilt at his villainess is one, because you lost your friend. Because Cloud cannot comprehend why Sephiroth is doing this. And when he starts slashing at Genova's thing, and Cloud is like, come on and stop, please stop, please. But you see his madness unfolding. You see him in the mansion studying, and him kind of transition. So there's a growth to him. There is a loss at the end. And also it feels bad because you kind of abandoned him. You let him to his devices. You did not support him all the way through. So this is kind of a bit of your fault as well. That's why it feels bad at the end. When you lose him and he becomes a villain. And he was your friend and now he's a villain. Now it's like Captain America and Winter Soldier. Was your friend, now he's someone that will still not kill you. He would still not kill you. But then again, what he did, the fires. So this was Sephiroth. Sephiroth was someone that was not grinning you for the first 2 minutes. Man, that shit disgusted me. When I played the game, and I played the game for 4 minutes, and Sephiroth was grinning at me evilly, like he does at the end of the game. And I was like, oh, fuck. And this is how people see Sephiroth. People on Kingdom Hearts and all them other games, when you see Sephiroth and Advent Children, he's just a grinning maniac with a long sword, a very long katana that flies around and hits it. That is not deserved. So they fucked up Sephiroth. Who cares? Well, people who wanted to see the first game more at molecular level, like the first game was like this third-person action, you know, like Command and Conquer, and all those things. And you see at the distance, there's barely any definition to the storyline. Now you see them. We wanted to go through that. I wanted to go through that arc. I wanted to go through that arc. I wanted to discover Sephiroth again. I wanted him to be my friend. I want him to step in his shadow and understand what is a soldier. I want him to take me away from wrong paths, to put me back and, you know, be the cool guy. And then I wanted to see his descent into madness. Which it may come. It may come in the next games. I don't know, God knows what they're doing. They're completely snapped the timeline. They can do whatever they want. But now we've seen the evil Sephiroth. We see him saying his shit. We know. We've been introduced. We've been poisoned. And that made me mad at the end. Made me mad. So firstly, to recap, this has been 20 minutes already of me ranting. And I need to do some. I need to do some cleaning around here. But one. Firstly, and I can't go back to play the game. I don't care. I know it's not the whole game. There's no point of accruing all this power. The next game is gonna come in 10 years' time. I don't feel like I'm playing an RPG at all. In fact, this game did not feel very RPG-istic. It was just a journey that you see, and I was mildly disappointed at the end. So I enjoyed many aspects of this game. I think a lot of people that are not super fans of the first game, they will find a lot of things to enjoy. But I need to say that what you're getting in terms of the Sephiroth Cloud story, this should not even be in a focus now. Sephiroth, the soldier, the Genova. When I saw the Genova, I was like, oh man, shit. They crammed too much in here because they knew they had to. People were expecting Sephiroth. People were expecting that storyline. That will come later, but the pacing is fucked. The gameplay is unsatisfactory to me. 100% I will go to the turn-based with the people on the side. 100%. Not because of nostalgia, you have to understand. But the system was good. I like what they did with the summons this time. For sure, that was a good improvement to gameplay. But it did not feel RPGistic. It felt like a hybrid. And I'm honestly, I played enough hybrid games to know that I don't like them. I didn't feel like I was growing in power. In fact, the last stretch of the game, I just wanted it to be over. I wanted, alright. And then you get in pure cosmic horror. It was... The first disc in Final Fantasy VII finishes when you escape the Shinra headquarters and you burn bridges behind you, and that was enough. It was impactful enough. The fact that they took it in the upside down and fight the arbiter of Harbinger to destroy time and destroy the timeline. I understand the connections and how deep they are, and we can talk about it for hours, but it felt brain farty to me. It's not something you can relate to. They should have focused like they did with Jesse on the drama of the people, how grounded it is. And they should have been like this in the game, and then maybe in the end you do some foreshadowing. To put some, whoa, holy shit, they're breaking the timeline. But no, they dove head into the cake. So now, where do you go from here? You're in full-blown Lovecraftian cosmic horror. Where do you go from here? How can you care if this is all a dream? If it's magic, it's explain everything by magic and the Dementors, that they're trying to keep everything in check. All those things. So, So I'm not a big fan of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I am very grateful that this game exists. And if you love it, the good on you. But if you work in narrative like me, this game leaves a lot to be desired, especially given the pedigree of this title and the tremendous impact that it had on all of us while we grew. All right.